Today we're going to be looking at combined 11s, so taking some of the notorious, some of the most influential sides from world football, putting them together, one against one, who gets into a combined 11. So we're talking about world-class elite players here. We've chosen Man United's 2007-2008 side that won the double. They won the Premier League and they won the Champions League. And then we've got Manchester City side, 2022-2023 season that won the treble. So we've got both of those two sides and we're going to combine them. So we've got Manchester City side predominantly use a 3-4-2-1. We had the John Stones hybrid role that went into midfield. Or we've got the 4-4-2 with the control, the tempo, but the fast attacking players that they had. So in terms of deciding the formation, for every single episode going forward, we are going to utilise a 4-2-3-1. No matter what the sides we're comparing, we're putting them into a 4-2-3-1. First position we're going to start with is Edwin van der Sar versus Ederson. Who are you going for?
I don't know what you boys are thinking. Straight off the bat, I think it should be Edwin van der Sar.
I'm in agreement there. Edwin van der Sar goes in for me.
Ederson is an elite goalkeeper. Elite changed the position at the time. You know, a lot of his ball playing. You know, Pep was trying to find that goalkeeper, wasn't he? The mainstay of his goalkeeper. So Edwin van der Sar goes in as the goalkeeper. Next, we're going with the right back. So we've got here that Wes Brown predominantly played right back in that side in the 2007-2008 season. Gary Neville was injured for a lot of the season, so it's Wes Brown or going at right back, Kyle Walker.
Well, there's only one that can go in there. There is absolutely no debate to be had about who goes in at right back in that squad between those two players.
Yeah, and it's Wes Brown.
It is Kyle Walker. So Kyle Walker goes in.
Yeah,
Kyle
Kyle
Walker, mate. Talk to me about Kyle Walker.
He's rapid. Just absolutely rapid. So dependable. He was so consistent throughout his time at City. You know, 1v1 defending, very, very good, shutting down some of the elite wingers and keeping them in check. His pace helped teams get out of so many difficult situations. You know, Wes Brown, unfortunately, didn't have a lot of that at all.
I think Kyle Walker is the best right back of the Premier League era. I think at the time when he was at his peak, he was the best right back in the world. And I think you'd argue that Kyle Walker could get into the best right back of all time of football. I think he'd be up in that debate. I think he has every attribute that you would want of a fullback. He could defend. He could attack. He could do well on transitions. He could do well with the ball. He did well without the ball. 1v1, 2 versus 1, 3 versus 1. He was elite in his position.
I agree. I think especially on transition, when City did lose the ball, but not like it was very often, especially in that side, I don't think there's anyone in world football you'd rather have on transition than Kyle Walker. I don't know if I'm wrong in saying that.
No.
I wouldn't have anyone else.
So the next one is deciding the centre-backs. Rio Ferdinand from the Manchester United side of 2007-2008 or Ruben Diaz?
It's Rio Ferdinand every day of the week and twice on Sunday.
That one is tough because I think, ideally, I would want, ideally those two would be the two I would put in there in a combined 11. But if I've got to pick between those two, I go Rio.
For me, it's Rio Ferdinand. So Rio Ferdinand gets in. You know, you think he is the probably like a modern defender back then. Quick, strong, unbelievable with his feet. You know, could just dribble into midfield and just take players on.
Very composed, really strong reading of the game. Very, very complete centre half.
Absolute elite. So the next centre half that partners him, Nemanja Vidic or Nathan Ake?
Mate, can we just put Nemanja Vidic in the side and then just move swiftly on?
It's Nemanja Vidic, isn't it? It's not even a question.
Yeah, but it is Vidic, but my thing there is obviously because City played that weird formation and John Stones was shoehorned elsewhere. For me, I would have gone with Rio and John Stones if John Stones was in there.
No. You want balance. Rio Ferdinand was doing John Stones things before John Stones was even born, and Nemanja Vidic was just your classic
I think
Premier
Nemanja.
League centre half. It'd be
Yeah.
Rio and Nemanja Vidic every day of the week. And
Yeah,
you can't.
Vidic goes in over Nathan Ake, 100%. There's no question.
Vidic,
But if
Vidic
it was
goes in
Vidic,
over John Stones.
if it was
Vidic
Vidic
does go in
versus
over John
Stones,
Stones.
I'd have
He
Stones
does.
over Vidic.
No, you're talking
no.
no, you're talking rubbish.
Oh.
No, it's
I would.
Rio and Vidic over any of the centre halves that played for Man City at the time.
I'd go
Easy.
for Rio and Vidic. Yeah. Okay, so
Cash has got his smart hat on.
left back. So it's a hard one because they play 3 at the back and we're going for a 4. It kind of fits. There's only one name that goes into there, which is Patrice Evra. And there's no one you can compare against Akanji if you want to. Nathan Ake probably played predominantly left side. He did play a lot of left back that season.
Yeah.
But I think it's a no-brainer. It's Patrice Evra.
Yeah, I mean that's one position where City have probably struggled the most to find like a consistent performer.
one.
I think at left back is probably the most obvious position that they've struggled with. But it's Patrice Evra every day of the week again.
So at the
Even
moment,
if they played a 4, it'd be Patrice Evra.
So at the moment, Edwin van der Sar in goal. Then we have a back 4 of Kyle Walker, Rio Ferdinand, Vidic, and Evra. Let's go to the wings now. So we've got either Cristiano Ronaldo or Bernardo Silva on the right-hand side.
Connor, if you say Bernardo Silva, I am never doing a podcast with you ever again.
For me, it's Cristiano.
Just skip it and move on. It's Ronaldo.
Connor, talk to me. Go on.
Oh, it's Ronaldo.
Oh, thank you. I had a mini heart attack for a second, and I already thought you were going to pull a Wes Brown on me then and go, it's Bernardo Silva. But it's Cristiano.
No, it's
Okay.
Ronaldo.
An easy one.
Left wing. Ryan Giggs or Jack Grealish?
It's Ryan Giggs. I'm sorry, it is. He's one of the best left wingers of the entire Premier League era. Never mind that year. He was arguably up there with one of our best players alongside Ronaldo and Rooney that year. Jack Grealish has done absolutely nothing in a Man City shirt. Absolutely nothing. I know they won the league, but he wasn't integral to that. It was other players around him.
Yeah, I think it's probably Giggs, isn't it?
So Ryan Giggs on the left. Okay. Holding midfield. Rodri or Paul Scholes?
You see, this is where the con debate comes in again, where he'd want, Diaz in there, because I think that putting them two against each other is difficult because I'd actually have Rodri and Paul Scholes in my team. I'd have Scholes as the number 8 and I'd have Rodri as the holding midfielder.
You know what? I'll change it. Controversial, but I'll change it. Rodri versus Michael Carrick.
Rodri.
Michael Carrick, one of the most underrated footballers of the English Premier League era, in my opinion, should have played more time for England, but it is Rodri, yes.
Okay, so Rodri goes in, obviously won the Ballon d'Or. Did he win the Ballon d'Or that season? Or was it the year after?
I think it was the year after, wasn't it?
Not sure.
No, it might have been that year, because I think Dembele won it after Rodri, didn't he? So it might have been that year, actually.
Rodri, an elite footballer. Busquets was before him in terms of revolutionising that role. I remember when Rodri started, I didn't rate him at all. When he started, I thought they lost out on Fernandinho, obviously leaving and retiring or whatever he did, because he was incredible. And then Rodri started off a bit slow. He looked a bit slow for the Premier League. Definitely physically imposing, but eventually he just turned into an absolute elite, press-resistant, so up here, mate. Just knowledgeable about his positioning. Unbelievable. So the next one is Michael Carrick or Ilkay Gundogan. It's wrong.
Wrong.
The next one is Paul Scholes or Ilkay Gundogan.
Now, I hate to say it. I always liked Ilkay Gundogan. However, it's Paul Scholes, and I'm not having any debate on it. It's Paul Scholes, one of the best English midfielders ever, one of the best Premier League midfielders ever. Paul Scholes.
I don't think there's really much question on that. As much as a good player that Gundogan was, absolutely fantastic player, Paul Scholes gets in ahead of him.
So Paul Scholes and Rodri in the midfield. The next decision we have to make. Man United played two up top. They played Wayne Rooney and they played Carlos Tevez. Okay? 2. So I'm going to put in either in the 10, Carlos Tevez or Kevin De Bruyne.
It's Kevin De Bruyne.
There's literally, there is no other competition for that number 10 spot. That's Kevin De Bruyne.
Kevin De Bruyne goes in. What an elite passer of the ball.
Unbelievable.
Oh, some of the best passes I've ever seen in my entire life have come from him.
And
Unbelievable.
I think he played it like the PlayStation, didn't he? You'd see the
Yeah.
pass, but
Oh yeah,
can you actually execute it when you're literally on the field with the ball? His awareness and where he was. It's the weight of the pass. It's the direction. It's unbelievable. What a player.
he'd run games and absolutely kill teams just by himself, wouldn't he?
Yeah. So the
Simple
next
as that.
one is the big one. Wayne Rooney or Erling Haaland?
Now, I'll go first. It seems as this is kind of steered towards me being a Man United fan in this episode. Longevity, goals, accomplishments. One of the best, just not even as a striker, one of the best technical footballers the Premier League's ever seen. I'd go for Wayne Rooney. However, I can understand why you two would go Erling Haaland if that's who you're going to choose. However, I am not going to do that out of respect and love for the man that is Wayne Rooney. As a Manchester United fan, I will pick him. But I will understand if you boys pick Erling Haaland.
I love Wayne Rooney. I think he was magnificent, and I always wished he had made that move to Chelsea when he was very close to doing it. I'd have absolutely have loved him at Chelsea. I thought he was brilliant. He was obviously England's top goal scorer for a short time. He is Man United's all-time top goal scorer. However, Erling Haaland is Erling Haaland, and the goals he scored in that season was absolutely mental. So I would pick Haaland.
I'm fine with it. I'm not crying. I'm fine with it. Cash?
We're doing season versus season.
We are.
So I think on that basis alone, it's Erling Haaland. And that really hurts to say because Wayne, wow. But I think longevity in this context, it's one team versus another. It's that time when they played at that time who is one over the other. And I think for me it is Erling Haaland. You cannot score the goals. You cannot be the level of player that he was during that season and not pick him over Wayne Rooney.
Arguably, if Spain didn't win the Euros, arguably Erling Haaland should have won the Ballon d'Or that year. And it pains me to say this. In the year that Man United won the Premier League and the Champions League, it was all about Cristiano. It was all about Cristiano.
Yeah.
Erling Haaland, you could argue, and you know, some people would agree, Erling Haaland was Man City's best player that year for the goals he scored.
Mm-hmm.
The year that Man United won the league, it was Cristiano Ronaldo every day of the week. And I think that's why I'm not mad. I'm disappointed that you boys have not gone for Wayne Rooney, but I am not mad, and I understand why you would go for Erling. But yes.
Okay. So To complete our team, let me just go through the side, the 11 that we decided. Manchester United 2007-2008 team versus Manchester City's 2022 season versus 23 season. So we've got Edwin van der Sar, we've got Kyle Walker, Rio Ferdinand and Vidic, and then Patrice Evra, Rodri and Paul Scholes, with flanking Cristiano Ronaldo, Ryan Giggs, in the 10, Kevin De Bruyne, and up front, Erling Haaland. So that is the 11. That team would do the quad, wouldn't it?
That team would go near enough unbeaten. That team would win the That team would win the league 5 years in a row, easy.
And I think they'd all complement each other right well.
Who though would you pick as the gaffer? Is it Fergie or is it Pep?
I wasn't ready for this.
That's fine. Throw that one in there.
Wasn't ready for this.
Pep. I think he's the greatest manager of all time.
You'd say that finishing second behind him every year. However,
changed the game, mate. Revolutionised it.
Again, however, I'm not going to take my Man United glasses off here because they will stay on. I'm picking Sir Alex Ferguson because ultimately, I don't think if you had that 11 out on the pitch, I don't think you need to do any inverted fullbacks. I don't think you need to do any sort of tactical knowledge. That's a really good point. I don't think you need to do any of the little motions and stuff that Pep does. I think you go out there, you motivate the boys, and you go and win the league.
But I'd have loved to have seen Pep manage a Ryan Giggs. I think you'd be talking about Ryan Giggs as the best left winger to ever play the game if Pep managed him. I think you'd be talking about Paul Scholes as being, he wouldn't even be questioned playing for England. He'd be the best player to play for England in the midfield. I think he gets that out of you.
100%. 100% tactically, yes. But I also think that, the 11 that we've named, do you need to get any better than what they already are to win the league?
Who would you choose, Con?
Oh, it is very, very tough because we know how good Sir Alex Ferguson was and how good the Man United team was, and then how dominant City have been under Pep, and some of the stats I read and hear about City under Pep, and he's 10 years there now, and they've had 22 visits to Wembley and various different things. He's now won, is it 4 or 5 Carabao Cups, League Cups? He's now
5,
won.
Yeah.
Most of all time.
4 Premier Leagues in a row. No other manager or team has done that in the Premier League era. So, as much as I think Sir Alex Ferguson was fantastic over those 26 years he spent at United, I just think the way in which Pep Guardiola has completely changed the game is just incredible. Like, totally, as you said, Cash, revolutionised it. I don't think in the mid-2000s you had managers that were saying, "Oh yeah, we want to play the Fergie way," but you get teams now who just want to play like Man City and play like Pep Guardiola because of just how phenomenal his teams are.
I'm not taking anything away from Pep Guardiola or Sir Alex Ferguson, obviously, but I also do think. My pick's Sir Alex Ferguson. That's my pick. However, I can understand why in this day and age and in this time frame of where the game is at now, why you'd go Pep Guardiola. But I'd argue that if you went back to when Man United won the league and the Man United side that we were talking about, I'm pretty certain that both of you would pick in that time, you'd pick Sir Alex Ferguson. I just think that the game is so different now. And I think that you probably would need a Pep Guardiola now. I mean,
in order to win things.
I'd say so, yeah. I mean, again, I'm not picking Sir Alex Ferguson, but I can understand where you boys are coming from. But I think the time of football, does count into it as well, I think.
So that is the combined 11, and there'll be plenty more of these where we compare nostalgic sides, Champions League winning sides. And I think it's a really good conversation to have. So tune in for the next episode where we look at our teams of questionable quality, where we're going to bring forward just one player to go into our own teams of questionable quality. So make sure you watch the next one. Thanks for listening.